and welcome to EBADay 2019 in Stockholm. I'm Hannah Wallace, and kindly joining me now in the TV studio is Charlotta Wark from CGI, and we're going to be talking about cashless societies. Hello Charlotta, thank you very much for coming and speaking with us today.
Thank you.
So yes, this is a really big topic, especially at EBADay. People are talking about the possibilities of a cashless society. So to set the scene, could you tell us about the sort of state of play, as it were, in this space?
So, I mean, in Sweden, I would say that we already passed kind of like the point of no return of going completely cashless. For us, it's a natural way. I think every Swede already accepts that that's the way we're going. And just as an example, I had my daughter, who's 10 years old, she was at a party last weekend with kids around. And she came to me and said, "I'm thirsty, Mom. Could I have some money to buy water?" You know, and I sent her off with 20 kroner, and she came back and said, "Mom, they don't take cash." So that is where we are at today in Sweden.
Well, picking up on that though, of course there's going to be some challenges in that move to a cashless society. How do you think banks and customers alike can navigate these challenges?
Yeah, so we talk about, of course, there's some social exclusion by, for example, elderly people who doesn't feel too comfortable about using technology, or even, you know, tourists or immigrants, or, you know, there are social groups that have a hard time. However, we've been joking about that the Swedish government just changed the face of the bills and the coins just a couple of years ago, or actually I think recently, last year. And a lot of elderly people now, since they don't recognize the bills anymore, so they think it's easier to use a digital app to pay because they still don't recognize the money anyway. So, but of course that it is an issue with how to deal with exclusion. Sweden is not as big of a problem because basically everybody has a cell phone in one way or another. But I think for other countries it will be a bigger problem.
Well, following on from that quite nicely then, what are the implications of this for society as a whole? Would you say it's sustainable?
So one of the issues that we actually do see, and we're at that point right now, is that since basically 90% of all the value that we move around are now happen digitally, but we still have to withhold an infrastructure of having cash money. And today it's the banks in Sweden who pay for maintaining that infrastructure. And as a reference, for example, the digital challengers, they don't have to have that burden of keeping that infrastructure alive. So this is a question that is very important to deal with, actually right now, preferably yesterday, on how do we make sure that we can, you know, maintain competitiveness for our banks while they still have to drag around the cost of this infrastructure.
That's really interesting. Well, Charlotta, thank you so much for sharing your insights and your outlook. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.